Good evening, night walkers of nervousness, and welcome to Series 2, Episode 1 of Hitchcock's Tales That Terrify, Shadows from the Master, on SL Tonight, launching our new anthology journey with stories for late at night, 1961. From Wyndham's depths, we stroll into The Whole Town is Sleeping by Ray Bradbury. But before we get too deep in, let's get a word from our sponsor, shall we?
Mirror, mirror in my hand, who is the fairest in the land? See the real you, perfect beauty awaits. Come inside, we are waiting. Join us. Magic mirror compact, beauty that pulls you in.
Oof, one look, and you'll never be alone again. Oof. Remind me to avoid the mirror. Anyway, Lavinia Nebbs defies warnings about the lonely one killer, walking home alone through ravines and empty streets, her imagination amplifying every shadow. Bradbury's paranoia and ironic safety twist capture Hitchcock's suburban suspense, while I screw it up. Hitchcock adapted Bradbury on TV like special delivery. Their shared irony ties to this tale's lurking dread. Step into the dark. Narration shadows. It was a warm summer night in the middle of Illinois country. The little town was deep, far away from everything, kept to itself by a river and a forest and a ravine. In the town, the sidewalks were still scorched. Doors were closing and the streets were turning dark. There were two moons, a clock moon with 4 faces and 4 night directions above the solemn black courthouse, and the real moon that was slowly rising in vanilla whiteness from the dark east. In the downtown drugstore, fans whispered in the high ceiling air. In the rococo shade of porches, invisible people sat. On the purple bricks of the summer twilight streets, children ran. Street doors whined their springs and banged. Heat was breathing from the dry lawns and trees. On her solitary porch, Lavinia Nebbs, aged 37, very straight and slim, sat with a tinkling lemonade in her white fingers, tapping it to her lips, waiting. "Here I am, Lavinia." Lavinia turned. There was Francine at the bottom porch step, and the smell of zinnias and hibiscus. Francine was all in snow white and didn't look 35. Miss Lavinia Nebbs rose and locked her front door, leaving her lemonade glass standing empty on the porch rail. "A fine night for a movie." "Where you going, ladies?" cried Grandma Hanlon from her shadowy porch across the street. They called back through the soft ocean of the darkness. "To the Elite Theater to see Harold Lloyd and Welcome Danger." "Won't catch me out on no night like this," wailed Grandma Hanlon. "Not with the lonely one strangling women. Lock myself in with my gun." Grandma's door slammed and locked. The two maiden ladies drifted on. Lavinia felt the warm breath of the summer night shimmering off the oven-baked sidewalk. It was like walking on a hard crust of freshly warmed bread. The heat pulsed under your dress and along your legs with a stealthy sense of invasion. "Lavinia, you don't believe all that gossip about the lonely one, do you? Those women like to see their tongues dance. Just the same, Hattie McDowell was killed a month ago, and Roberta Ferry the month before, and now Eliza Ramsell has disappeared. Hattie McDowell walked off with a traveling man, I bet. But the others strangled, 4 of them, their tongues sticking out their mouths, they say." They stood upon the edge of the ravine that cut the town in two. Behind them were the lighted houses and faint radio music. Ahead was deepness, moistness, fireflies, and dark. Maybe we shouldn't go to the movie, said Francine. The lonely one might follow and kill us. I don't like that ravine. Look how black. Smell it. Listen. The ravine was a dynamo that never stopped running, night or day. There was a great moving hum among the secret mists and wash shales and odors of rank greenhouse. Always the black dynamo was humming, with green electric sparks where fireflies hovered. And it won't be me, said Francine, coming back through this terrible dark ravine tonight, late. It'll be you, Lavinia. You down the steps and over that rickety bridge, and maybe the lonely one standing behind the tree. I'd have never gone over to the church this afternoon if I had to walk through here all alone, even in daylight. Bosh, said Lavinia Nebbs. It'll be you alone on the path, listening to your shoes, not me. And shadows, you all alone on the way back home. Lavinia, don't you get lonely living by yourself in that house? Old maids love to live alone, said Lavinia, pointing to a hot, shadowy path. Let's walk the short cut. I'm afraid. It's early. The lonely one won't be out till late. Lavinia, as cool as mint ice cream, took the other woman's arm and led her down the dark, winding path into cricket warmth and frog sound, and mosquito delicate silence. Let's run, gasped Francine. No. If Lavinia hadn't turned her head just then, she wouldn't have seen it. But she did turn her head, and it was there. And then Francine looked over, and she saw it too. And they stood there on the path, not believing that they saw it. In the singing deep night, back among the clump of bushes, half hidden, but laid out as if she'd put herself down there to enjoy the soft stars, lay Eliza Ramsell. Francine screamed. The woman lay as if she were floating there, her face moon-freckled, her eyes like white marble, her tongue clamped in her lips. Lavinia felt the ravine turning like a gigantic black merry-go-round underfoot. Francine was gasping and choking, and a long while later, Lavinia heard herself say, "We'd better get the police." "Hold me, Lavinia. Please hold me. I'm cold. Oh, I've never been so cold since winter." Lavinia held Francine, and the policemen were all around in the ravine grass. Flashlights darted about, voices mingled, and the night grew towards 8:30. "It's like December. I needed a sweater," said Francine, eyes shut against Lavinia's shoulder. The policeman said, "I guess you can go now, ladies. You might drop by the station tomorrow for a little more questioning." Lavinia and Francine walked away from the police and the delicate sheet covering the thing up the ravine grass. Lavinia felt her heart going wildly within her, and she was cold too, with the February cold. There were bits of sudden snow all over her flesh, and the moon washed her brittle fingers whiter, and she remembered doing all the talking while Francine just sobbed. The police voice called, "You want an escort, ladies?" "No, we'll make it," said Lavinia, and they walked on. "I can't remember anything now," she thought. "Can't remember how she looked lying there or anything. I don't believe it happened. Already I'm forgetting. I'm making myself forget." "I've never seen a dead person before," said Francine. Lavinia looked at her wristwatch, which seemed impossibly far away. "It's only 8:30. We'll pick up Helen and get on to the show." "The show? What we need." "Lavinia, you don't mean it." "We got to forget this. It's not good to remember. But Eliza's back there now, and we need to laugh. We'll go to the show as if nothing happened." "But Eliza was once your friend. My friend." "We can't help her. We can only help ourselves forget. I insist. I won't go home and brood over it. I won't think of it. I'll fill my mind with everything else, but..." They started up the side of the ravine on a stony path in the dark. They heard voices and stopped. Below, near the creek waters, a voice was murmuring, "I am the lonely one. I am the lonely one. I kill people. And I'm Eliza Ramsell. Look, and I'm dead. See? My tongue out my mouth. See?" Francine shrieked, "You there! Children! You nasty children! Get home! Get out of the ravine! You hear me? Get home! Get home! Get home!" Children fled from their game. Night swallowed their laughter away up the distant hills into the warm darkness. Francine sobbed again and walked on. "I thought you ladies never come." Helen Greer tapped her foot at the top of the porch steps. "You're only an hour late, that's all." "We..." started Francine. Lavinia clutched her arm. There was a commotion. Helen found Eliza Ramsell dead in the ravine. Helen gasped. "Who found her?" "We don't know." Three maiden ladies stood in the summer night looking at one another. "I've a notion to lock myself in my house," said Helen at last. But finally she went to fetch a sweater, and while she was gone, Francine whispered frantically, "Why did you tell her?" "Why upset her? Time enough tomorrow," replied Ravina. The three women moved along the street under the black trees through a town that was slamming and locking doors, pulling down windows and shades, and turning on blazing lights. They saw eyes peering out at them from curtained windows. How strange, thought Lavina Nebbs. The popsicle night, the ice cream night, with the children thrown like jackstones on the street, now turned in behind wooden glass. Popsicles dropped in puddles of lime and chocolate where they fell when the children were scooped indoors. Baseballs, bats lined the foot-printed lawns. After on white chalk, hopscotch lines there on the steam sidewalk. "We're crazy out on a night like this," said Helen. "Only one can't kill three ladies," said Lavinia. "Safety in numbers. Besides, it's too soon. They're just come a month separated." Shadow fell across their faces. Figure loomed, as if someone had struck an organ a terrible blow. The three women shrieked. "Got you!" The man jumped from behind a tree. Grinning in the moonlight, he laughed. Leaning on the tree, he laughed again. "Hey, I'm the lonely one. Tom Dillon." "Tom!" "Tom," said Lavinia, "if you ever do a childish thing like that again, may you be riddled with bullets by mistake." Francine began to cry. Tom Dillon stopped smiling. "Hey, I'm sorry." "Haven't you heard about Eliza Ramsell?" snapped Lavinia. "She's dead. You're scaring women. You should be ashamed. Don't speak to us again." "Oh." He moved to follow her. "Stay right there, Mr. Lonely One, and scare yourself," said Lavinia. "Go see Eliza Ramsell's face and see if it's funny." He pushed the other two on along the street of trees and stars, Francine holding a handkerchief to her face. "You literally just found him. How the hell is he—" "Never mind." Francine pleaded Helen. "It was only a joke. Why is she crying so hard?" "I guess we better tell you, Helen. We found Eliza, and it wasn't pretty. And we're trying to forget. We're going to the show to help, and let's not talk about it. Enough's enough. Get your ticket money ready. We're almost downtown." "Man, I wouldn't be surprised if this chick ain't the lonely killer." The drugstore was a small pool of sluggish air which the great wooden fans stirred in tides of arnica and tonic and soda smelled out into Brick Street. "Nickel's worth of green mint shoes," said Lavinia to the druggist. Her face was set and pale, like all the faces they'd seen on the half-empty street. "Eating in the show," she explained, as the druggist dropped the mints into a sack with a silver shovel. "You look pretty tonight," said the druggist. "You look cool this noon, Miss Lavinia, when you was in here for chocolates. So cool and nice that someone asked after you." "Oh? You're getting popular." The man sitting at the counter rustled a few more mints in the sack. "Watched you walk out, and he said to me, 'Say, who's that?' Man in a dark suit, thin pale face. 'Why, that's Lavinia Nebbs, prettiest maiden lady in town.' I said, 'Beautiful,' he said. 'Where she live?' Here the druggist paused and looked away. "You didn't," wailed Francine. "You didn't give me her address, I hope. You didn't." "Sorry, I guess I didn't think. I said, oh, over on Park Street, near the ravine. Casual remark, but now, tonight, them finding the body. I heard a minute ago. I suddenly thought what I've done." He handed over the package, much too full. "You fool!" cried Francine, and tears were in her eyes. "Sorry. Of course, maybe it was nothing." Nothing," said Francine. Lavinia stood with the three people looking at her, staring at her. Didn't know what or how to feel. Felt nothing, except perhaps the slightest prickle of excitement in her throat. She held out her money automatically. "No charge for those peppermints." The druggist turned down his eyes and shuffled some papers. "Well, I know what we're going to do right now." Helen stalked out of the bookshop. "We're going right straight home. I'm not going to part any honey party for you, Lavinia. That man asking for you, you're next. You want to be dead in that ravine?" "It was just a man," said Lavinia slowly, eyes on the street. "So, Tom Dillon's a man, but maybe he's the lonely one." "We're all overwrought," said Lavinia reasonably. "I won't miss the movie now. If I'm the next victim, let me be the next victim. A lady has all too little excitement in her life, especially an old maid, a lady 37 like me, so don't you mind if I enjoy it. And I'm being sensible. Stands a reason he won't be out tonight so soon after a murder. Months from now, yes, when the police relaxed and when he feels like another murder. You got to feel like murdering people, you know. At least that kind of murderer does. And he's just resting up now. And anyways, I'm not going home to stew in my juices. And Eliza's face, there in the ravine. After the first look, I never looked again. I didn't drink it in, if that's what you mean. I can see a thing and tell myself I never saw it. That's how strong I am. And the whole argument's silly anyhow because I'm not beautiful. Oh, but you are, Lavinia. You're the loveliest maiden lady in town, now that Eliza's... Francine stopped. If you'd only relaxed, you'd be married years ago. Stop sniveling, Francine. Here's the box office. You and Helen go on home. I'll sit alone and go home alone. Lavinia, you're crazy. You can't leave me here. They argued for 5 minutes. Helena started to walk away, but came back when she saw Lavinia thump down her money for a solitary movie ticket. Helen and Francine followed her silently into the theater. Her show was over. In the dim auditorium, as they sat in the odor of ancient brass polish, the manager appeared before the worn red velvet curtains for an announcement. The police has asked for an early closing tonight, so everyone can be home at a decent hour. So we're cutting our short subjects and putting on our feature film again now. The show will be over at 11. Everyone's advised to go straight home and not linger on the streets. The police force is pretty small and will be spread around pretty thin. That means us, Lavinia, us! Lavinia felt the hands tugging at her elbows on either side. Harold Lloyd and Welcome Dangers, said the screen in the dark. Lavinia, Helen whispered. What? As we came in, a man in a dark suit across the street crossed over. He just came in. He just sat in the row behind us. Oh, Helen. He's right behind us now. Lavinia looked at the screen. Helen turned slowly and glanced back. I'm calling the manager, she cried, and leapt up. Stop the film! Lights! Helen, come back, said Lavinia, eyes shut. When they set down their empty soda glasses, each of the ladies had a chocolate mustache on her upper lip. They removed them with their tongues, laughing. You see how silly it was, said Lavinia. All that riot for nothing. How embarrassing. Her clock said 11:35. They come out of the theater, and the laughter and the enjoyment feeling new. And now they were laughing at Helen, and Helen was laughing at herself. Lavinia said, when you ran up that aisle crying, lights! I thought I'd die. That poor man. The theater manager's brother from Racine. I apologized, said Helen. You see what a panic can do? A great fan still whirring and whirled in the warm night air, stirring and re-stirring the smells of vanilla, raspberry, peppermint, and disinfectant in the drugstore. We shouldn't have stopped for these sodas. The police said, oh, bosh the police, Lavinia laughed. I'm not afraid of anything. The lonely one is 1,000,000 miles away now. He won't be back for weeks, and the police will get him then. Just wait. Wasn't the film funny? The streets were clean and empty. Not a car, truck, or person was in sight. The bright lights were still fit in the small store windows where the hot wax dummies stood. The blank blue eyes watched as the ladies walked past them down the night street. You suppose if we screamed they'd do anything? Who? The dummies, the window people. Oh, Francine. Well, there was 1,000 people in the windows, stiff and silent, and the 3 people on the street, the echoes following like gunshots when they tapped their heels in the baked pavement. The red neon sign flickered dimly, buzzing like a dying insect. They walked past it. Baked in white, the long avenue lay ahead, blowing and tall in a wind that touched only their leafy summits. The trees stood on either side of the 3 small women. First we'll walk you home, Francine. No, I'll walk you home. Don't be silly, you live the nearest. If you walked me home, you'd have to come back across the ravine alone yourself. And if so much as a leaf fell on you, you'd drop dead. Francine said, I can stay the night at your house. You're the pretty one. No. So they drifted like 3 prim-clothed forms over a moonlit sea of lawn and concrete and trees. To Lavinia, watching the black trees flit by, listening to the voices of her friends, the night seemed to quicken. They seemed to be running while walking slowly. Everything seemed fast in the color of hot snow. Let's sing, said Lavinia. They sang sweetly and quietly, arm in arm, not looking back. They felt their hot sidewalk cooling underfoot, moving. Listen, said Lavinia. They listened to the summer night, to the crickets and the far-off tone of the courthouse clock, making it 15 minutes to 12. Listen. The porch swing creaked in the dark, and there was Mr. Turley, silent, alone on his porch as they passed, having a last cigar. They could see the pink cigar fire idling to and fro. Now the lights were going, gone. The little house fights and the big house fights, the yellow fights and the green hurricane fights, the candles and oil lamps and porch lights, and everything felt locked up in brass and iron and steel. And yes, it does have them as fights, I don't know why. Everything, thought Lavinia, is boxed and wrapped and shaded. She imagined the people in their moonlit beds and their breathing in the summer's night's rooms, safe and together. And here we are, she thought, listening to our solitary footsteps on the baked summer evening sidewalk. And above us the lonely street lights shining down, making a million wild shadows. Here's your house, Francine. Good night. Lavinia, Helen, stay here tonight. It's late, almost midnight now. Miss Modoc has an extra room. I'll make hot chocolate. It'll be ever so much fun. Francine was holding them both close to her. No thanks, said Lavinia, and Francine began to cry. Oh, not again, Francine, said Lavinia. I don't want you dead, sobbed Francine, the tears running straight down her cheeks. You're so fine and nice. I want you alive. Please, oh please. Francine, I didn't realize how much this has affected you, but I promise you I'll phone when I get home right away. Oh, will you? I'll tell you I'm safe, yes, and tomorrow we'll have picnic lunch at Electric Park, alright? With ham sandwiches I'll make myself. How's that? You'll see, I'm gonna live forever. You'll phone? I promised, didn't I? Good night, good night. Francine was gone behind her door, locked tight in an instant. Now, said Lavinia to Helen, I'll walk you home. The courthouse clock struck the hour. The sounds went across the town that was empty, emptier than it had ever been before. Over empty streets, empty lots, empty lawns, the sound went. 10, 11, 12, counted Lavinia, with Helen on her arm. Don't you feel funny? Asked Helen. How do you mean? I mean, you think of us being out here on the sidewalk, under the trees, and all those people safe behind locked doors, lying on their beds. We're practically the only walking people out in the open in 1,000 miles, I bet. The sound of the deep, warm, dark ravine came near. In a minute, they stood before Helen's house, looking at each other for a long time. The wind blew, the odor of cut grass and wet lilacs between them. The moon was high in a sky that was beginning to cloud over. I don't suppose it's any use asking you to stay, Lavinia. I'll be going on. Sometimes. Sometimes what? Sometimes I think people want to die. Certainly acted odd all evening. I'm just not afraid, said Lavinia, and I'm curious, I suppose, and I'm using my head. Logically, the lonely one can't be around. The police and all. Our police? Our little old force? They're home in bed too, the covers up over their ears. Let's just say I'm enjoying myself, precariously but safely. If there were any real chance of anything happening to me, I'd stay here with you, you can be sure of that. Maybe your subconscious doesn't want you to live anymore. You and Francine, honestly. I feel so guilty. I'll be drinking hot coffee just as you reach the ravine bottom and walk on the bridge in the dark. Drink a cup for me. Good night. Oh no, she's right. Chick seems a bit odd. But she's the killer. Lavinia Nebbs walked down the midnight street, down the late summer night silence. She saw the houses with their dark windows, and far away she heard a dog bark. In 5 minutes, she thought, I'll be safe home. 5 minutes, I'll be phoning silly little Francine out. She heard a man's voice singing far away among the trees. She walked a little faster. Coming down the street toward her in the dim moonlight was a man. He was walking casually. I can run and knock on one of these doors, thought Lavinia, if necessary. The man was singing, Shine On, Harvest Moon, which just went into the public domain, by the way, and he carried a long club in his hand. Well, look who's here. What a time of night for you to be out, Miss Nebbs. Officer Kennedy. And that's who it was, of course, Officer Kennedy on his beat. I'd better see you home. Never mind, I'll make it. But you live across the ravine. Yes, she thought, but I won't walk the ravine with any man. How do I know who the lonely one is? My God. No thanks, she said. Of course not. He's just a cop. So, fuck him. I'll wait right here then, he said. If you need help, give a yell. I'll come running. She went on, leaving him under a light, humming to herself alone. And she literally started running faster, but whatever. Oh, I almost forgot. Here I am, she thought, the ravine. She stood on top of the 113 steps down the steep, rambled bank that led across the creaking bridge 100 yards and up through the Black Hills to Park Street. And only one lantern to see by. 3 minutes from now, she thought, I'll be putting my keys in my house door. Nothing had happened in just 180 seconds. Started down the deep, dark green steps into the deep ravine night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 steps, she whispered. She felt she was running, but she was not running. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 steps, she counted aloud. 1/5 of the way, she announced to herself. The ravine was deep, deep and black. The world was gone, all the safe people in bed, the locked doors, town, drugstore, theater, the lights, everything was gone. Only the ravine existed and lived, black and huge about her. Nothing happened, has it? No one around, is there? 24, 25 steps. Remember that old ghost story you told each other when you were children? You listened to her feet on the steps. Story about the dark man coming in your house and you upstairs in bed, and now he's at the first step coming up to your room. Now he's at the second step. Now he's at the third and the fourth and the 5th step. Oh, how you laughed and screamed at that story. And now the horrid dark man is at the 12th step, opening your door, and now he's standing by your bed. I got you! She screamed. It was nothing like she'd ever heard, that scream. She'd never screamed that loud in her life. She stopped. She froze. She clung to the wooden banister. Her heart exploded in her. The sound of its terrifying beat filled the universe. There, she screamed to herself. At the bottom of the steps, the man, under the light. No, now he's gone. He was waiting there. She listened. Silence. The bridge was empty. No thing, she thought, holding her heart. Nothing. Fool. The story I told myself. How silly. What shall I do? Her heartbeats faded. Did I call the officer? Did you hear my scream? Or was I only loud to me? Was it really just a small scream after all? She listened. Nothing. Nothing. I'll go back to Helen's and sleep tonight. But even while she thought this, she moved down again. No, it's nearer home now. 38, 39 steps. Careful, don't fall. Oh, I am a fool. 40 steps. 41. Almost halfway now. She froze again. Wait, she told herself. She took a step. It was an echo. Another step. Another echo. Just a fraction of a moment later. Someone's following me, she whispered to the ravine, to the black crickets and dark green frogs and the black steam. Someone's on the step behind me. I don't dare turn around. Another step, another echo. Every time I take a step, they take one. Step, and an echo. Weakly, she asked of the ravine, Officer Kennedy, is that you? The crickets were suddenly still. The crickets were listening. The night was listening to her. For a moment, all the far summer night meadows and close summer night trees were suspending motion. Leaf, shrub, star, and meadow grass had ceased their particular tremors and were listening to Lavinia Nebb's heart. And perhaps 1,000 miles away, across locomotive lonely country, in an empty way station, a lonely night traveler reading a dim newspaper under a naked light bulb might raise his head and listen, and think, what's that? And decide, only a woodchuck, surely beating a hollow log. But it was Lavinia Nebb's. It was most surely the heart of Lavinia Nebb's. Faster, faster, she went down the steps. Run! She heard music. In a mad way, a silly way, she heard the huge surge of music pounded at her, and she realized as she ran in panic and terror, that some part of her mind was dramatizing, borrowing from the turbulent score of some private film. The music was rushing and plunging her faster, faster, plummeting and scurrying down and down into the pit of the ravine. Only a little way, she prayed. 110, 11, 12, 13 steps. The bottom, now run, cross the bridge. She spoke to her legs, her arms, her body, her terror. She advised all parts of herself in this white and terrible instant. Over the roaring creek waters, on the hollow, swaying, almost alive, ridge planks she ran, followed by the wild footsteps behind, with the music following too, the music shrieking and babbling. He's following. Don't turn. Don't look. If you see him, you'll not be able to move. You'll be frightened. You'll freeze. Just run, run, run. She ran across the bridge. Oh, God, God, please, please let me get up the hill. Now up the path. Now between the hills. Oh, God, it's dark and everything's so far away. If I scream now, it wouldn't help. I can't scream anyway. Here's the top of the path. Here's the street. Thank God I wore my low-heeled shoes. I can run. I can run. Oh, God, please let me be safe. If I get home safe, I'll never go out again. I was a fool. Let me admit it, I'm a fool. I didn't know what terror was. I wouldn't let myself think. But if you let me get home from this, I'll never go out with Helen or Francine again. Across the street now. Across the street, rushed up the sidewalk. Oh, God, the porch, my house. In the middle of her running, she saw the empty lemonade glass where she left hours before, and the good, easy, lazy time left it on the railing. She wished she were back in that time now, drinking from it, the night still young and not begun. Oh, please, please, give me time to get inside and lock the door and I'll be safe. She heard her clumsy feet on the porch, felt her hands scrabbling and ripping at the lock with the key. She heard her heart, she heard her inner voice shrieking. The key fitted. Unlock the door, quick, quick! The door opened. Now inside, slam it! She slammed the door. Now lock it, bar it, lock it! She cried wretchedly. Lock it tight! The door was locked and barred and bolted. The music stopped. She listened to her heart again, and the sound of it diminished into silence. Home! Oh, safe at home! Safe, safe, and safe at home! She slumped against the door. Safe, safe. Listen, not a sound. Safe, safe. Oh, thank God. Safe at home. I'll never go out at night again. Safe, oh, safe, safe home. Safe, so good, safe. Safe inside, the door locked. Wait. Look out the window. She looked. She gazed out the window for a full half-minute. Why, there's no one there at all. Nobody. There was nobody following me at all. Nobody running after me. She caught her breath and almost laughed at herself. Stands to reason if a man had been following me, he'd have caught me. I'm not a fast runner. There's no one on the porch or in the yard. How silly of me. I wasn't running from anything except me. That ravine was safer than safe. Just the same, though, it's nice to be home. Home's a really good, warm, safe place. The only place to be. She put her hand out to the light switch and stopped. What? She asked. What? What? Behind her, in the black living room, someone cleared his throat. And so sleeps the whole town, sleeping, where night hides ironic perils, masterful build of solitary dread. As Lavinia's walk twists, it reflects Hitchcock's craft of lurking unknown. Bradbury's TV adaptations expanded anthologies. Next, Evening Primrose by John Collier. Did you like that story? Was that a good one? I really thought that she was going to turn out to be the killer there for a minute. But then that ending was a bit obvious, wasn't it? Or maybe that was just me. Well, either way. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Walk warily. Good night.
Not by the city lights, you lean your head on mine. stars while counting down. We're frozen in the glow. Storefronts pulling metal gates, but we got nowhere to go. You trace a heart in